Morning, Jace.
Hi, Jack Francis. Good morning, Cal.
Hey. What's up?
Not too much.
Is it that cold over there?
Yeah, it's a 32 right out. I don't know right now, so
Oh my god, that's cold.
it's gonna get a lot colder coming up. Well, we're gonna give people a couple of minutes to show up as per usual. So I'll be back in a couple minutes. Actually, while we're waiting, Cal, how do you pronounce your last name properly?
Hanida. It's kind of funky name even in Arabic, so
Okay.
this name. I'm blessed with a funky name.
Well, I've got a funky name as well, so.
Yeah. Do you know the song Leonard Cohen?
Uh-huh.
Lover, lover. I need my father. You know, it's yeah. Anyway. Too early.
Can we start off every SIG Azure meeting with Cal singing Leonard Cohen, please?
That would be great. Do you take requests?
Let me get my whiskey and my cigarettes.
Actually, that coughing at the end, you're onto something there.
This just keeps getting better. This is great.
Any talks of yesterday's decisions made today?
No, we haven't really gone over it much. I figure we'll touch on a little bit of that today. Not in detail, but just generally speaking.
You take the lead, man.
Since it's my since this is my baby now.
Yes, it's your baby.
Yes.
All right.
All right, well, it's 3 after. We're just going to go through stuff here pretty quick. There's really not much on the agenda. If you're here, if you could sign into the agenda and just put your name down, that would be super helpful. I'll put it in chat so we've got it. And if anybody wants to volunteer to take notes, I don't think there will be any notes, but, you never know. Work in progress. I kind of wanted to get a survey of if anybody here is working on stuff, and if so, what that is. If anybody wants to speak up, that would be great.
Yeah. So let's remember the discussion we had last time about the 3+1 main topics that we talked about. The bug in consolidating the NSG rules, the issue around not the load balancer rules and IPs are not cleaned up when the cluster is under stress on Azure, and the third thing is the ability to support multiple load balancers. So each cluster consists of multiple availability sets. We want to be able to use all the load balancers attached to these availability sets. The changes are PR'd as of yesterday.
Okay.
Just need to get you the PR numbers for tracking.
Okay.
I can add them as we speak today.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll put a little line item under each one here, PR, and then just have you link to it. That'd be great.
Our plan is to do the code review over today and tomorrow.
Okay.
They are there, like the rest of the community can look at them. One of them is going to change a bit because for a lot of reasons it needs to change, like we changed the service control code. And I do believe we really don't need to do that. The other thing is the fourth was the ability to, like, the scheduler to recognize the fact that this VMs on Azure of different size support different number of disks. There was a PR done by Google, and we talked with the folks who were behind the PR, and we basically proposed a case where this should not be based on the cloud provider. It should be based on some sort of a config map that can update.
Yeah.
So we actually agreed, and they think it's a bit better than what we have.
Good.
What currently proposed. So this takes care of not just Azure. It takes care of Azure, Google Google Cloud, AWS, and anybody who has this requirement of different machines equal different disks, number of disks. I'll get you all the PR numbers as we speak now.
That's great. Thank you so much. That's all amazing stuff. Does anybody else have any work in progress that they want to go over? Do we need to keep an eye on? Okay.
I can say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
CSI is coming in 1.9, and we've been talking about, we want to really move to CSI. Everybody wants to work to CSI because it means out of 3 volume providers, similar to Flex Volume, but CSI is more concise. Right now, nothing is planned, right? But over the next couple of weeks, I think we'll have something planned on this. If anybody wants to join in implementing this, please let me know. Just bring me or bring Jace, he knows how to find me. And we'll just include you in the work.
So there was one thing that we had on the books that we were going to try and accomplish, which was the Key Vault integration. That's just completely dead in the water, right? As we understand it.
Just to give everybody what's happening, a review of what's happening. There was, on 1.8, there was a set of interfaces merged that allow cloud providers to integrate with key management systems such as Azure Key Vault or Google KMS and so forth. And then because the cloud providers are under freeze, when we did our Azure implementation, people were saying, but cloud providers are freeze, then we should include new features in them. So the discussion went, but Google is there, and there was like, all right, let's revert back the Google changes. So now, right now, as we stand, 1.9 is not going to have Key Vault integration for Azure or GCP or anybody else until we solve an out of 3 provider for Key Vault.
Yeah, thanks for giving that update. I'm actually in the background here. I'm removing it from the features tracking because I don't think this is ever going to get done, at least the way we had originally scoped it. So
the problem is the community needs to come to. I do believe the best way to do these things is to come up with a CSI or CRI kind of approach where we define a well-known interface, like host it somewhere, and then we can call out of 3 components because these things tend to be volatile and require changes. And speaking, they don't impact the core functionality. The core functionality is Kubernetes needs to say, encrypt this for me, decrypt this for me. And everything else should be like outside of the Kubernetes core code.
Yeah, I mean, really, truly, a PKI interface would do it. And we just don't need to understand what the generalities are across the various implementations of PKI, and then so that may be something that we want to queue up for a later release, maybe next year, or depending on what happens with cloud providers or whatnot, we'll see. But okay, so that is off the table. So consider that now not in our concern. There are two PRs that I put in that need approval. They're not approvals that we can get or that we can do ourselves. So if you have a good connection to somebody who's in the owner's list for the areas that need approval, then ping them or hit them up individually. If nothing happens on those PRs in the near future, I'll just go ahead and start doing that myself. But I try to not be in the game of lassoing people into to do approvals unless I have to. Release updates. 1.9 is marching toward code freeze. Code slush starts the 20th, which is when we really start trying to get all those approvals and stuff on to PRs.
22nd.
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 The
22nd. 2 days, man. A lot can happen in 2 days.
I know. The 22nd is the freeze. But the 20th, though, is when we need to target all those approvals by. So there's a 2-day window there where we want to get those approvals in. So yeah, things look on track. We're actually going to be releasing an alpha, I believe, this week. It'll be alpha.3. The interesting thing there is that we will probably, for the first time in a very long time, have all green signal for the alpha. So that's exciting. We're heading toward a world where we can do integration testing ahead of the release and actually have it be test passing. I am writing up a proposal. I'm co-sponsoring it with Aaron Krickenberger, who's the co-lead of SIG Test, to create admission and graduation criteria for blocking tests, which is something that's desperately overdue. So this is going to help us differentiate what tests should and shouldn't be blocking. So at some point, when we get the Azure E2E tests in place and we use them, like the GKE tests, we're going to want to have those included as blocking for releases. So we're not there yet, but at some point we'll want to write the rationale up and do the admission criteria and get those tests going. So that'll be exciting. And by the way, we're much further ahead in a lot of ways than most in that regard. So, and what else? So 110 planning. We're basically going to be deprecating the features repo, and probably starting in 110 will be where we start doing that work. The way that we're going to approach this is essentially having a top level document about what we're trying to deliver, break it down into issues per milestone. So basically you track the work at the issue level, and then when you create a PR that is targeting work for the top level thing, you just link the issue to the PR, and then you have this steel thread between what the initiative description is and what you're actually doing at the PR level. So that's coming. I will schedule a planning session for us for 110, probably in December. I'll try and find a time that works for us.
December is going to be hard, man.
I know it always is, but I want to get it done if at all possible, or at least get a start on it. And that ties into the other thing, which is, so internally at Microsoft, we're talking about the best way to handle upstream merges, and sort of the cases where we have a need that maybe is an urgent need that needs to be merged into our version that we run inside Azure of Kubernetes. That is basically needs a faster cadence than we can get through the community. So essentially, what is the workflow around that? What is the planning around that? And the sort of decision-making process is that the best place to have transparency and guide that work is through the SIG. We talked about pros and cons of doing it internally, and we all agree that the better we have of oversight, the more likely we are to create changes in the Kubernetes project that are mergeable upstream and don't become derelict or lost. So that's something we'll look at in 110 planning. We'll probably talk about more how we do that, and we'll establish whatever kind of approval framework we want to use around changes that we want to try and upstream. So it's going to be an interesting time, and I think this is going to be an approach that other SIGs like SIG GCP and whatnot might look at for their own products, because I know that Google does this as well to some degree. So that's pretty much it for me. I mentioned code freeze is 11/22 coming fast. We are, if you haven't heard the news, both ACS Engine and AKS are both certified compliant Kubernetes solutions from the CNCF. So that provides an assurance to our customers that workloads are portable across multi-cloud, and that what you see is what you get in terms of our implementation of Kubernetes. So that is a big selling point for our enterprise customers, and especially our customers seeking multi-cloud solution. So definitely let people know that if they don't already. Any questions, concerns, etc. before we wrap it up?
There is a document that I believe everybody on the SIG should read. I think it was Brian, the dude with Infinity with Omega sign on Twitter. Is Brian
Grant, yeah.
Yes, Brian Grant. He wrote like a long-term re-architecture kind of doc around separating the API, separating the controller, all that code changes and component that demerging. I think everybody should read it. It's an excellent read on where the Kubernetes should go. and it will help also like set the tone for decisions we make for the likes of TNI and all of that stuff. I'll find it and I'll put a link for it on this document, and please go read it. And Brian is a good guy. He listens to like comments and feedback and questions. Just be vocal if you see something. If you see something, say something, basically.
Yeah, that's really good, Cal. Thank you. And also, if you are interested in that architecture angle, I would love to have more Azure focused representation in SIG architecture. That meeting happens an hour and a half before the community meeting. It's a little early. I think it's 8:30 Pacific, but that is a great time to do have those discussions. I'm co-lead of the SIG, so I will definitely fill you in on sort of where things are at any time if you need it. And please, as Cal said, is review this document, because this is the future and this is where we need to start building toward for sure.
Can you share the details of the SIG architecture so I can just go and join them?
Yeah. So if you
Kubernetes like SIG's list and all of that,
it should be, yeah. And let me get the Google group for you.
I'll find it.
Okay, you got it.
Don't Google it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So too late, Cal. Yeah. So definitely join SIG architecture if you're interested. I would love to have more people involved. Sometimes it feels like I'm the lone sheep out there wandering in the field, representing everybody's interests, and I don't make a very good sheep. So, all right. With that, anything before we adjourn?
Stay awesome.
Let's all do that. All right, buddies. Thank you so much. Have a good week, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Chase.
Yep.